Hello lovely people, welcome to our weekly reading for the week of the 20th of November. I hope you're all well, I hope you've all had a really good week, and I hope you are looking forward to seeing what this week has to tell us. Let's see what the cards have to say. Okay, let us see. Okay, so we have a major arcana card here. We have death. Oh, and we have another major arcana card here, which is the Wheel of Fortune. And then we have the Two of Wands. You're going to make a lot of noise. Let's just put you like that. Right, so how interesting. Right, so we've got death, which is nothing to be afraid of. It is basically the most notorious card in the tarot deck. And that's usually because people are, well, they're looking at the word death and seeing it in only one way. And also they're thinking in terms of, you know, what they've seen on television and movies, all of these things made to dramatize a situation or a film. So let's have a little look at death in a very different way. So, as I've said in previous readings, that the major arcana cards is very much about the psyche, it's what's going on underneath. And the minor arcana cards are your sort of day-to-day, week-to-week, sort of much more surface level concerns, if you like. So if we look at death here, death represents basically clearing away old systems to make room for new ones. It's kind of like just getting rid of stuff to it's like clearing out your cupboard so you can put new things in there. This sort of thing now, it would include sort of like outdated habits and behaviors and patterns of thought. And as I said, it is the most notorious symbol for change and transformation. So it comes across as quite a scary card. But, and you know, change is a little bit scary. But the fact of the matter is we go through change like numerous times in our lives. We can't go through our life without change. And the purpose really of change is to make way for transformation. And of course that comes back down then to the individual. You know, do they choose to transform, or do they choose to do the same old thing and get the same old results? So when this card comes up, it basically heralding a time for internal and external spring clean, in preparation, say, for new ideas and for new habits and opportunities. So the sort of kind of many deaths that we might have had, we might have in a lifetime, will continue to have, will be things like, you could be changing your job, you could be changing your school, you may be becoming, at the end of your school year, going into another class. You may be ending school and going to university. You may be starting a new job, ending a new job. You may be going into a new relationship, or ending a new relationship, because you have to have the ending before the beginning, if you like. So you will end something and then go into something new. You could have, for me, I might be reading a really, really great book, and it feels like a little bit of a sort of death when I finish that book, because I really miss it. I loved the book, I loved the reading of it, and I loved the way it was written, I loved the story, and then it's over. And when I come to a really great book like that, I find myself reading it slower and slower and slower, because I'm trying to put off the inevitable. But, and in a way, that's a little bit what life can be like, because we're not talking about sudden changes with this card. These cards, the change, when this card comes up and it's dealing with change, it's dealing with change that's already kind of anticipated. It's already there, sort of in the works. And so it's basically saying it's time to release what is no longer required, release what is no longer working for us. So it's an end that will occur naturally. Now, it isn't the change that tends to shape us as people. It isn't, or the death of something that changes us as people. But it's how we deal with the transformation that accompanies that change. So, the underlying lesson here is to surrender to the changes that life presents. Because it's only when outdated patterns are swept away can new opportunities kind of arrive. So, again, if you say, like, I have a whole wardrobe of, clothes that you've had for years and years and years, and maybe they're just all too small for you, but you don't want to get rid of them or anything like that. Well, if you want to add new clothes there's no room, so you're going to have to chuck out something to make room. And that's really what this is about in a much more spiritual way. It's what's inside your head. Maybe it's the thoughts, it's maybe your limiting thoughts that are holding you back. And as I say, it's not, when this card appears, it's not about a sudden change. So this isn't the Tower card. This is the Death card. It is about a change that is already kind of in the works. It's already happening, and you're already anticipating new opportunities. So that's what I want you to really examine with yourself here is, what is it that you need to let go of, and what's holding you back, like possibly a fear. Maybe you have to surrender to that fear to understand that, new opportunities are coming in. And when new opportunities come in, there is an unknowable factor there. And it's really kind of being brave enough to go forward despite not knowing what's ahead of you. So, which is kind of interesting, because this is where the Two of Wands is coming into in this reading here. So it's again, like as I said, the kind of endings that we're talking about here, there could be could be the completion of study, it could be the completion of a job, or a separation, maybe in a relationship, or it could be a relocation to a new city or part of a town, which kind of links us here with this card, because this card is very much about making a decision to do that. And this card is a Wands card, so it's very much about the physical. So I'm inclined to think that we're looking at, and even taking the Wheel of Fortune in here, we're looking at some kind of change in something that is physical in some way. Now, the other thing is with the Death card, it can also signify a Scorpio person. And the spiritual lesson here for Scorpios is to surrender to the many changes in their lives. Because, when I say many changes in their lives, it's many changes in all of our lives. But Scorpios have, they tend to resist change much more so. They happen to be a fixed sign of the zodiac. So their lesson, one of their lessons, is to surrender to change. So another type of change that could be, it could be very well, you might have a new baby in the house, and that's going to completely change the dynamics in the home, and it's going to change them very quickly as well. So a job promotion doesn't have to be leaving a job. It could be a promotion of a job. It could be maybe an elderly person coming to live in your house, or it could be managing an elderly person that is having to move into maybe a care home. So, these are all the sort of the endings of something. And, and just want to say something here as well about elderly people. they have an awful lot of endings that kind of come fairly quickly, one after another, can do. So you could have a situation where you have an elderly parent that was really quite well, quite able to be at home, quite able to manage, and then for whatever reason they're not able to manage very well in their home. So maybe they go into assisted living, and so that's a change for them where they become a little bit more dependent on being looked after, and then it could be a year or two or more when they might go from that into proper care home where maybe their mobility isn't so good anymore, so they're not able to get around, they're not able to go out without a lot of assistance, and they would be maybe become very dependent on people coming to visit them. And these are a whole load of little deaths for them, of little deaths of their ego, if you like, not being able to do this and becoming more dependent. So, death hits us. All of these little deaths hit us in very, very different ways. Maybe something has happened and, you don't feel comfortable doing something anymore because something has affected you. That's a little death in itself. So, so what really this is doing is this card is saying you're coming up to the end of an old chapter and you're ready to commence a new era, whatever that is for you. Now, if we bring this up to the Wheel of Fortune, so the Wheel of Fortune represents the circle of life. And of course, the circle of life involves constant movement. And when the wheel is turned upwards, it kind of it represents sort of events in your life appearing to improve. And as the wheel moves downwards, the cycle would appear to finish something, to fall away, or just to lose your momentum. And say during this low energy cycle, this would be a very good time to reflect on, say, past actions and the impact those actions would have had on you and on your circumstances. And whereas a high energy phase, it's better to act on prospects because, especially in career and social and creative opportunities, because they are often more plentiful. So it really depends very much where the wheel is on how you should respond. So if the wheel is if there is a downturn for you, it's a little bit, the way you kind of know about this, it's sort of like, if you're feeling on top of the world, then you can kind of know that the wheel is on an upward movement. And that's when it's a good time to take, it's a good time to put your power out there, to make things happen. And likewise, because of these opportunities are there, because a lot of opportunities are, we will see them when we're up there. Whereas if we're on a downward momentum, we don't always see the opportunities that are there. And maybe it's a good time to reflect on things rather than, try and go against the grain and make things happen when maybe the time just isn't right. So there's a lot of unpredictability, if you like, with the Wheel of Fortune. And this card is very much about making peace with life's unpredictability. And it symbolizes that unpredictable, both good and bad, happen. And, so it's like as if events occur with seeming kind of randomness. And they can leave you feeling that you have no control over them. So, like I said, some days you might feel on top of the world, and other times you might feel that everything is falling apart and not working out, and it's, it puts you sort of out of sorts. So chaotic and unplanned things, they do occur in life. I mean, we all know that. And if you look at the wheel here, we've got the rim of the wheel, which is out here. Now, the rim of the wheel represents the external world with all its sort of chaotic unpredictability. And the center of the wheel here, it represents your center. And your center is the seat of your best self. So if you can find your way home to your center, then the random things that occur in the world outside of your control, they won't feel as disturbing. Because then, if you're okay inside, it does kind of minimizes what's happening on the outside. So, are you, say, able to take unexpected events in your stride? Or are you that kind of person? Or maybe are you possibly rigid and inflexible? Do you panic when something doesn't go exactly according to plan? Because that panic is the outside of this wheel. It is the outer rim. And if you are able to take unexpected events in your stride, and I mean, I don't mean you have to be completely horizontal here, but just kind of be able to manage things is and to maybe not see things so personally, and to just understand that when things happen, that there is a reason. After every ending comes a new beginning. So there is a real lovely connection here with these two cards. So when you operate from your center, life no longer feels so random. And you can control the direction of the wheel. So when you're controlling the direction of the wheel, that it appears like as if things are going your way. So when this card appears in your reading, it's telling you that it's time to get off the emotional roller coaster and to detach from the external dramas. Because the truth is, we don't have complete control of every life event that occurs. But you do have the ability, if you want to use it, you do actually have the ability to control how you respond. This is where your choice comes in. You can't always stop things from happening, but you absolutely can choose how you respond to things. And you can choose to let either your kind of wise spiritual side handle the situation, or you let your fear handle it. And if you let your fear handle it, this is where it's going to feel really chaotic and out of control. So this card is telling you that it's time to take unexpected things in your stride and to choose to respond with excellence, if you like. So if you are centered, you will operate from that sort of place of great personal power. And the Wheel of Fortune does foretell good luck for those who find their way back in here. So it's a really, this can be a really great card. You have the ability to make it so. Now this is bringing us now to the Two of Wands. So the Two of Wands highlights a decision between staying in an environment that is familiar but no longer stimulating. Or about making a change that holds promise but might not deliver, kind of like anticipated rewards. So it's very much, this is very much a Wands card, which of course it is, and it's very much a physical card. So it appears like that you could be considering leaving home or a job or a relationship that is restrictive. So again, we're looking here at letting go of things that no longer serve when you come to the Death card here. So they're very connected. all of them are beautifully connected here. So this really much is very much a card. It's about a time to move on. And when you're looking at a Wands card, you're looking at action. Action is always required when you're looking at the Wands. And the Two of Wands describes the process of making decisions about the appropriate course to take. Now we've got this sort of orange tunic here, which is very much about enthusiastic approach to life. And, you know, the red hat very much highlights a passion for adventure and for mastering basically the physical world. So the world in his hand here suggests an internal landscape that feels small and that you're keen to pursue adventures and challenges somewhere else. So a typical Wands approach to life is, if it isn't stimulating, something is wrong. And, you know, Wands people, they thrive on tests and challenges. And they are at their best when they have achievable goals ahead. So goals always give Wands people immediate purpose. And I very much I very much identify with the whole Wands concept, because if I have a goal, then, you know, I know exactly what I want to do and I will really be able to go for it. So as this is a Wands card, this decision is likely to involve a physical environment. So it's a choice about changing home or work circumstances. It's not about the effort of changing the position, but it's about the decision preceding the action. And so when this card is upright, as it is, it suggests that this is a suitable time to proceed. But there's no urgency. You know, it's okay. You have time to weigh up the benefits and the costs of each option in front of you. However, there is another lesson here, or the lesson here of the Two of Wands is that the achievement of goals will not bring happiness to an already unfulfilled heart. So your bliss, your joy, it must come from within. And if you can find self-love and joy at this moment without achieving anything, then you have actually freed yourself from that restless search. So don't fall into the trap of, I'll be happy when I've moved. I'll be happy when I'm on holiday. I'll be happy when I have enough money. Don't fall into that trap, because the Two of Wands asks you to stop searching for that happiness, if you like, and to reconnect with your inner bliss, and to do it right now, because it's an action card. It requires action. So these are three fabulous cards together, and I'm going to leave it now with you to work this out for yourself. How does this resonate for you? And if it does resonate for you, please do leave me a comment below. You can subscribe to this channel to be notified for the next reading. And if you would like to know more, you can book a private reading with me. I love to hear from you. You'll find my email address in the description of the video. So until next week, I am going to say cheerio, and I'm going to love you and leave you.